Hello, this is Sifan at idealpoker.blogspot.com. How to play Omaha. Hand rankings. Omaha uses the normal hand rankings for most poker games. From lowest to highest, here are the hand rankings. A pair, there's 2 matching cards. 2 pair, 3 of a kind. A straight, which is 5 cards in consecutive order. A flush, which is 5 cards all of the same suit. A full house, which is a pair and a 3 of a kind together. 4 of a kind. A straight flush, which is 5 cards in consecutive order, all of the same suit, and a royal flush is ace, king, queen, jack, 10, all of the same suit. When 2 players have the same hand, for example a pair of kings, they would then look to the next strongest card in their hand as a tiebreaker. So if one player had king, king, ace, jack, 8, and the other player had king, king, queen, 10, 4, the first player would win because ace beats the queen. This rule also applies to straights and flushes, so be careful not to overestimate your hand, as it is possible your opponent has a similar hand. Dealing the game. To play Omaha, 2 to 9 players are required. Each player is first given 4 cards dealt face down. These are private cards which each player may use to try to make the best poker hand. It is important to know that players must use 2 and only 2 cards from their 4-card hand. After each player has been dealt cards, a round of betting occurs. Once this round of betting is completed, the dealer places 3 cards in the middle of the table dealt face up. This is known as the flop. These are community cards which all players may use to create their best 5-card hand. A round of betting occurs. Once a round of betting is completed, the dealer deals another card face up in the middle of the table. This is known as a turn. Then another round of betting. The dealer then places the final community card face up on the table. Then all players turn their cards face up and the best hand is rewarded the pot. Once again, it is very important to remember that you must use 2 cards and only 2 cards from your 4 private cards. Betting. Omaha is played almost entirely as a pot limit game. This means players may bet any amount up to the size of the pot. The game starts with 2 players to the left of the dealer placing forced bets. These are known as the small and big blind. The small blind is always half the size of the big blind. The size of the blinds are determined by the stakes. For example, in a $1 $2 game, the small blind would be $1 and the big blind $2. Once blinds have been placed, the player directly to the left of the big blind starts the action. Players have the option to check, call, fold, or raise. Check is when a player chooses to pass on his turn to bet. If, however, a player has already bet, he must either call, fold, or raise. Call is when a player chooses to match another player's bet, allowing them to continue the hand. Fold is when a player chooses to surrender his hand, avoiding having to match any more bets. A bet or raise is when a player places a wager on his having the best hand, which all players must match in order to continue. Once the first betting round has been completed, the dealer will put out the flop. On this round of betting, the player directly to the left of the dealer will start the action. Another round of betting, then one last round of betting on the final card, after which the best hand is rewarded the pot. Basic strategy tips. In pot limit games, it is important to build a pot worth going after. This will not only give you a chance of winning a bigger pot, but it will also give you more betting options, as your betting range is increased. Just because you can only use 2 cards, doesn't mean you should only require 2 good cards to play. Try to have 4 cards that benefit each other, even if they only add a possible flush draw or straight draw. Because many players enter hands with seemingly unrelated or crazy hands, consider every possible hand that beats you, or could draw to beat you, before you continue the hand. When there is doubt, there is no doubt. Don't be afraid to fold strong hands when you feel uncertainty, as it is quite common to see full house against full house or even quads versus quads. Use bonus code DEPOSIT100 and receive a 100% deposit bonus at FullTiltPoker.com.